Good morning everyone, welcome to another Adventures Out video. It is Thursday the 17th of July. I'm back out at the beach at Hayle where I've been staying for the past couple of weeks, and this will be probably my last paddle of this Cornwall holiday. That is because tomorrow is our last full day and the weather's not looking fantastic for tomorrow. Today it's looking pretty good actually. It's a bit overcast, but there's hardly any wind. The rain we had this morning has gone, and the forecast for this afternoon is pretty good. I don't expect to be out all day though. I'm going to do probably maybe like 3 or 4 hours, something like that. The plan today is to go into the Hayle Estuary, so it's about 45 minutes or so before high tide at the moment, so I'm going to paddle into the estuary and have an explore in there and then paddle back out. There's barely any waves today. It was a little tricky getting in. There was some good waves, so I might get my bodyboard out this afternoon. We'll see. We'll do one last bodyboard, although maybe do some bodyboarding tomorrow. And I'm going to get into the estuary before the tide comes, so let's get on with the paddle. And when I get to the estuary, I'll set up my 360 camera, because at the moment, because of the waves getting in on the beach, I didn't set up my 360 camera. I've only got my GoPro Hero at the back there recording at the moment. So let's get going. So we're nearing the small piece of headland there that denotes the start of the Hayle Estuary. Just the other side of there, you can just see that sort of gap. Let's see if I can zoom in. You can just see that gap there. That is where we're heading for. That headland is where I walked over the other day when I did my walk and swim. Hopefully that video has been posted already. If I put these up in chronological order, then that will be the next video, or that will be ahead of this video. It's exactly 10 o'clock now. High tide is 10:45, so we've got 45 minutes to get into the estuary before the tide turns, and then hopefully we'll have a good hour of sort of slack water to explore. It's not a big estuary. I'm not planning to go massively far up to it. I just want to go into Hayle, like it goes through the town, so I want to see the town from the water and show you guys what it's like. But anyway, let's get on with it. It's the train we caught on the way to St Ives. It's a handy little park and ride that. Get the train into St Ives instead of a bus, but very quick and a pretty nice journey. Pretty scenic. So yeah, highly recommended. Don't try and drive it into St Ives if I were you, unless you've got a specific reason to. Yeah, use the park and ride at Earth, whatever it's called, St Earth. I'll put it on the screen if I've got that wrong. Yeah, use the park and ride. It's very good. Okay, there's a shallow beachy cove on the other side of this sandbank here that I'm going to stop at briefly and set up my 360 camera. If I can, I'll show you an aerial shot of the cove. Probably not with a drone, maybe just from Google Earth or something. There's the said cove, but I'm not going to go into the cove. I'm just going to land at this little beach here and put my camera on. Then we'll get going again. Hello.
People swimming, not you.
Sorry?
This is just for people swimming, not you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Okay, and we're off again into the estuary. Just check I haven't left anything on the beach. No, just seaweed and a red flag, which the lifeguard kindly said wasn't for me, it was for swimmers, which I knew, but nice of him to tell me. So this estuary splits in two. Now the last paddle I did, and when I almost considered going into the estuary and I got myself a little stuck, I went into the right hand side, and there is a bit of a pool there, but I don't think that's the most interesting part of the estuary. I think the right hand side is where all the shipbuilding used to take place in Hayle, which, you know, might be interesting. If we do get time, we might have a look in, but I don't want to miss the other side of the estuary. So given that there might only be one chance to get in and out with the tide, I'm going to concentrate on the left hand side of the estuary, which should take me into town. Now the estuary almost completely, apart from a tiny little dribble of a river, completely dries up during low tide, and it's got quite steep banks, so I need to be really careful. I've got OS maps with me to show me where the main channel is, so I'm going to try and follow that. You know, I've got an app. I haven't got a physical map, I've got an app on my phone which will show me with GPS where I am, so I'm going to try my best to follow that channel, but hopefully also I'll be able to see the bottom if it gets too shallow. A couple of things that are new on today's paddle. Well, one thing that is an idiot move is I forgot my paddle leash, which I think is still on the table in my awning. Paddle leash is handy to have. I kind of use it more to drag the boat around with the paddle rather than ever having to need it to recover my dropped paddle. I've never had to do that, so touch wood, there isn't any wood. I won't drop my paddle, and I won't be needing to actually use the paddle leash for what it's meant for. But I still would recommend using one, just because it is handy for using to manoeuvre the boat around when you're trying to get in it. That little slipway there behind the green marker there is where I stopped the other day after I got stuck with the tide and flew my drone for a little bit. So that is the side we're not going down, and we're going to go down this side into the marina and into town and have a look around. My GoPro Max doesn't seem to be turning on with the app, which is frustrating. So I'm going to have to beach again. Okay, we're off again. GoPro Max is back on. It had crashed like all GoPros seem to do, so I had to take the battery out and put it back in again. Very frustrating. Wish GoPro would really sort that out. So this sort of mouth of the estuary here, with the beach on the left hand side as we're going, seems to be a pretty popular spot for swimming at high tide. Obviously only at high tide, because at low tide this is basically just sand. You can almost walk across it, not quite, but some quite good cove areas, like where there's literally no wind and no waves, and very shallow, so about as safe as it can be for kids. There's also what looks like a pretty nice beach bar up there, somewhere handy for a drink while you're on the beach. And I believe there's almost not quite a slipway, but just a very nice gentle slope there up to a car park behind the beach bar. So if you weren't staying where I was and you wanted to come and do this estuary, that might be probably the best place to launch from this side of the estuary. You can see there's some guys there just getting into a kayak there. So they're either launching or just finishing up. But we're going to head further on into town. There's obviously still a bit of fishing that goes on from this harbour. A few fishing boats lined up. There's a fair bit of construction going on down here as well. They look like they're building some harbour-side apartments, which I'm sure will be lovely when it's done, but at the moment it kind of makes it look a little bit untidy. So yeah, so we want to go follow North Quay and go along King George V Memorial Walk basically into that area there, and basically it looks like we want to stick to the right hand side as we go in. Morning. These apartments look okay. Maybe not the nicest view out into the harbour. It's actually not too bad, but there is just behind that white building a big old Asda. It looks like there's a bit of a slipway there, and then a weird pontoon that they've put out from what looks like to be the old slipway or another slipway, but I don't know if you can use that. It looks like the Surf Lifesaving of Cornwall are launching from there just now. Now I don't think I can go any further than this. I think the gates are shut. I'm going to have to turn around. I thought I could get under that bridge, but I guess not. So we're going to about turn and head back up the other side. Well, that was disappointing that we can't go where I intended, so change of plan. We're going to go into this channel here, which is only a short way up, but we'll hopefully get up to that bridge maybe. I think that's about as far as you can go. Thought I could hear something behind me, but it's not coming this way. Seahorse boat trips from St Ives, I'm assuming. I don't know if you can get the boat from here or whether it just lives here and does boat trips out of St Ives Harbour. So I'm not going to go very far into this, I don't think, because it's not the most attractive of estuaries, but I think a couple of things to note is on the left hand side there, hopefully the 360 camera will pick it up, is Phillip's famous pasties, which I'm hoping to sample at some point today or tomorrow before I go home. I've had a few pasties, mixed bag, some good, some not so good. I mean, they're all good, but some were better than others. So hopefully we'll try that one today, maybe today or tomorrow, and see what that one's like. Then there's a little ice cream shed and dessert shed up there, which looks pretty good as well. Probably won't get to try that, but it always looks pretty busy on a nice day. And then on the right here, let's just swing the boat round, which I don't need to because I've got a 360 camera. Looks like the harbour walls had a bit of a collapse there, which is why I'm not going to get too close to it. But I don't think we can go very much further. I'll go a little bit further. The train bridge is interesting, but I don't want to go all the way down there. In fact, I'm not going to go any further than this because it looks like there's a chain or a rope across. So yeah, so let's turn around and head back. So yeah, so I'm not going to go any further down there. It looked like there was a chain across. I would like to have got to the railway bridge, which is sort of in the town or village square, which is quite nice, but I'm not going to go that far. It's not the nicest of places to paddle, this place. But we're going to go into the third channel, which is over there, of this side of the estuary, and we're going to see what's in that one. But I suspect the answer will be Asda. Okay, we're going to head into this one. Again, I don't think we can get very far. There is, I think, some kind of big lock gate that I did notice the other day when I was looking around here. So this is probably going to be the last little channel I explore, and that's okay. We did the other side of the divider almost, well, most of it the other day. Yeah. I've just been asked to go around the back of this crabbing vessel. I wouldn't call it a boat, platform, because there's a couple of anglers there. But yeah, I guess if you wanted to come to get your weekly shop by boat, this is a town you could do it, because there is an Asda up there and there seems to be somewhere to moor, obviously only at high tide. Thought that was a bloke stood on there. Yeah, so there's big sort of sluicey lock gates there that you can't get through. So we'll head back out before the tide catches us out. And that's it for this side of the estuary, the town side of the estuary. I'm going to head back out towards the splitter and see if I can get in the other side, but the tide has turned now and I can feel it just gradually taking me back out to sea, but it is fairly slack, so it's nothing major, so I might still be able to get back in. We'll see. If it's too hard to paddle against, I'm just going to board and we'll head back out the mouth of the estuary back into the open water. Well, we've reached the split point again where we were before, and there is a bit of a run out. You can see the water running out to sea from the estuary there, but let's go see how bad it is. The only problem is my GoPro behind me has run out of battery, so I'm going to stop at the beach there and change the battery. That should give us another 45 minutes of recording, and then I've got another battery after that. GoPro Max is down to about 60%, which again is probably about 45 minutes from this point, so we'll see how we get on.
Well, that's not ideal. A boat just came past the estuary, into the estuary rather fast, and basically wiped me out. I mean, I didn't fall out, but I got a load of water in the boat. I was going to have to beach to land my drone anyway, so it wasn't a big deal, but basically I had to get out and empty the boat of water because it got quite a lot of water in it. I could have bailed it out with the sponge, but it would have taken 20 minutes, whereas it just stopped and bailed it out. Anyway, we're going to carry on. We're going to get back in the boat. We're going to head out to the estuary, head out of the mouth of the estuary, and we're going to head back along the beach towards where my campsite is.
Well, needless to say, I didn't go into the other part of the estuary today. Just crossing it, I could feel there was a strong current coming out of it, so I didn't even try. There's some signs that the clouds are clearing, but not as quickly as I thought they might. I thought by 12 it would be pretty much blue sky, but it's not going to be that way. That's us out of the estuary, which is behind us, and now we just got the paddle along past the point there and back to the beach, and that's where I'll end this video. Rolling waves here, which means probably at the beach they're going to be quite high breakers. They're going to make landing fun. And I did hope to film the landing by leaving the camera on, specifically the GoPro Max 360 camera on, but I don't want to risk that camera. I don't mind so much with the Hero 10. I've had that a while now. If that doesn't owe me anything, I mean, I'm not going to deliberately kind of break it, but I'm prepared to take a few more risks with it. It obviously is supposed to be waterproof, but I suspect the seals might be on their way. It's tethered to the boat. The handle grips are supposed to float anyway, but should something fall off, everything is securely tethered to the boat. And the ends of the tethers are within reach, so I can, essentially from my seat, I can grab and drag the cameras back on board. But obviously in breaking waves that's not ideal. So what I might do is I might see if I can get the GoPro Max off the front while I'm still out at sea. I might not be able to get the tripod off, but I can at least maybe get the camera off the top and put that in my dry bag. Here we are back at the beach that's right outside my campsite. There you can see Hayle Surf School just at the top of the hill, and the Lifeguard station just halfway down the hill. That hill, by the way, is something I'm going to have to cart my gear up when I do actually finish this paddle, which I'm not looking forward to. It is quite steep, it's quite a climb, but I think we can do it. Keep paddling for a bit along this beach and watch some of these surfers, see what else, if there's anything of interest along to see along this beach, and see how far we get before I feel like it's probably time to head back. A couple of things. Trying out some new sunglasses today. Picked these up in the UK yesterday. It was basically £25 a pair of polarised, or £15 for non-polarised. And I picked these up. These are polarised. They're nice and cheap. They actually only paid 20 for them because my wife wanted a pair and it was 2 for 40. So I ended up getting these for 20 quid. Yeah, they're pretty good actually. The good thing is they're very cheap, so if they get broken or they get lost on a kayak, I'm not bothered. But the main thing is that they're polarised, so I can see into the water. Something that I described the other day when I was paddling there. If you wear polarised sunglasses, it helps remove the sun's glare off the top of the water, and you can see a little easier into the water to look for
obstacles, as well as marine life or sea life or water life, whatever. You know, if I could share a link to buy this online, I would, but I've said I bought them from the shop, so I don't even know what brand they are, but they're all pretty happy with them. They're fairly comfortable. They are nipping a bit around my ears, but I'm sure they'll stretch a little bit. The other thing I'm trying to do is I've been watching a bit of paddle TV on YouTube, and been trying to work on my paddle stroke a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to be the world's best paddler, but I'm trying to put a little bit of body turn into my paddle strokes, trying to be a bit more efficient. The other thing is, obviously I'm a bit old, and I've got I do get something with bad backs and stuff, and I can feel it twisting a little bit on my spine. So I'm not maybe putting as much body movement in as they say I should. I do think it is more efficient, and it feels a bit more like a natural paddle. It's a great holiday. There's lots to say and do, you know, what we did on holiday, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that footage. I filmed quite a lot, took a lot of photos. I may just do a little video, mainly for my own benefit, but share it with you guys as well, just of all the various places we've been to, attractions and all that kind of stuff. I maybe haven't done as much paddling as I'd like to have done, but you know, this is a holiday that I've come to with my wife, and I don't think it would be very fair for me to go off paddling every day of the holiday. So I've done three paddles in the sort of 14 days, so that's maybe sort of 2 less than I would have liked, but it's been quite windy. So I should have really gone to some estuaries. Like, I did think about maybe going to Falmouth and doing the estuary there. We did actually go to Falmouth for a day, and while we were there I thought, I should have brought my boat, but then my wife would have had to hang around. But yeah, I've had a really good holiday. Got one more full day left, which is probably going to be spent most of the time packing up, because we've got to be off the site early on Saturday morning, like 10 o'clock on Saturday, which is kind of ridiculous. If any of you guys are caravanners or campervanners or motorhomers, you usually know that 11, 12 is more normal for getting off the campsite, but 10 is quite a bit stingy, I thought. So we're going to do most of the packing up tomorrow, like taking the awning down, all that kind of stuff, and just leave the bare minimum for Saturday morning so we can get on the road as soon as possible. It's fair to say that I'll definitely be coming back to Cornwall. All being well, we'd like to do a trip abroad next year, back to France like we did last year. This time I'm definitely going to get my boat out of the van and use it. Last year I went to France for 2 weeks. Did take this boat, but I didn't get it out of the van, partly because the weather was rubbish. I think days like this prove that you don't need blasting hot sunshine to enjoy a paddle. It was actually quite pleasant getting in the water today, because the difference between the air temperature and the water temperature was next to nothing. The water temperature is about 16 degrees, the air temperature is maybe like 18 degrees, a bit more now, but at 9 o'clock this morning it was about 18 degrees. God, just a big wave. But anyway, I'm going to sign off this paddle now. I'm going to attempt to take that camera off before I land. I'm going to put my phone in my dry bag, I'm going to put this microphone in my dry bag. I'll leave the GoPro on, and we're going to attempt to land, attempt to beach without drowning, without going over. Well, the waves are pretty high. But the good thing about that is I'm going to go have some lunch, and then I'm going to come back and do some bodyboarding. So anyway, thank you for joining me on this paddle, and thank you for watching all my Cornish holiday videos. This may or may not be the last one. But yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you for sticking with me. If you have enjoyed watching this video, please do give it a thumbs up by clicking the thumbs up button at the bottom of your device or screen. And if you're watching the channel and you want to see more from me, then the best way to do that is subscribe, really. Click the subscribe button, put the notifications on, and you'll get notified when I upload a new video. I'm hoping to keep this kayaking going as we move further into the summer. Obviously I'm going back home soon, so there might be more local kayaking around Shrewsbury, maybe a bit more on the Langholm Canal. Hopefully by now it will
caravans on the canal video that I did recently. And yeah, maybe a bit more, you're hoping to get another trip in the caravan maybe to the Welsh coast in late August or September, so maybe there'll be a bit more coastal kayaking, but it very much depends on the weather. But anyway, thank you for now, and I will see you in whatever the next video turns out to be, and wish me luck that I can get in without becoming a cropper, and also I can get this GoPro camera off the front. You'll see me do that because the rear one will be recording while I do it.